A total simp for percentages.
A total
Simp for percentages. I hate RPE. I don't hate the idea of RPE. I hate the implementation of RPE. I'm going to prescribe a weight. I'll give them the percentage, but you're not married to the number. Like if the warm-up sets feel good, dude, go up a little bit.
Yeah.
The thing with RPE, about 2 months ago, I hit 500 for 8. But if I was to go into that session and just want to do like an RPE of 7, I probably would have done like 3 reps.
Right.
Most people don't have a really good subjective way of determining how hard a set actually was. I was on Tim Riley's Coach 'em Up podcast over this past summer, and the topic of RPE versus percentages came up. And I've mentioned my criticisms of RPE on here before, but I've never really made a positive case for why I think percentages should be the primary guide when determining load. Percentages, and even if we acknowledge that strength and demonstration of strength can vary day to day approximately 20% or so, it still gives you an objective external load, and you know what that external load is prior to executing your set. While RPE is what we would call an internal load. It's your perceived exertion of the external load. The RPE is subjective, and if you rate a set at an RPE 8, there's also probably a 20% give or take from the load of that set that would also have been perceived as an RPE 8. So if you hit a set of 405 at RPE 8, you still don't know if that was the most appropriate load for you because you maybe should have used 10 to 15 pounds heavier or lighter. There is a huge window there. The other thing about RPE is you don't know what the RPE is until after you completed the set. So RPE is descriptive in a way, not prescriptive, where percentages are prescriptive. So what about velocity-based training? That gives you an objective number just like percentages, and it can also signify an external load. And this is true about velocity-based training, but just like RPE, you don't know what the velocity is until after you completed the set. And sure, you can always make adjustments based on the RPE or the velocity of a set, or even cut the set short if it ends up being way too heavy or too slow. Let's be honest, when you attempt to make an adjustment, you're making a wild guess because you don't know how much fatigue was just induced when you overshot the previous set. You've just muddied the waters or blurred the lines significantly. If you could have predicted that you need an adjustment or made the adjustment ahead of time, it would have been a lot easier, but you can't because you can't predict the future. So if you overshoot or undershoot, but especially overshoot, you kind of end up not knowing where to go from there. If you overshot your RPE 8 or your velocity was significantly slower than what you were going for, do you stay the course with what you had planned and hope your adjustments work? Or do you recognize that you've just significantly increased the magnitude of stress of that exercise and back the weight way down and just accept that your next sets might not be very productive? Or do you just chalk up the rest of the session or the rest of the sets of that exercise you're on? I don't think anyone really knows the right approach to this. And I'm not opposed to using RPE or VBT, as I've been using a lot of VBT in my training lately, but it should be used in conjunction with percentages. Percentages should be the primary intensity figure or the intensity guide of selecting loads. You at least know what your intensity figure is prior to the set, not after the set, even if we acknowledge that strength can vary about 20% on any given day. If you have to make adjustments, you can look at that percentage and go 20% lower or higher, instead of just guessing with the weight and thinking, well, I hope I move it at this speed, or I hope this is an RPE 7 or 8. I can likely expand on this in another video. Let me know if you want me to, but that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.